Okay, let's get back into this. I was sorry the last episode took a bit longer to get out than the others. It was, well, some weird thing going on with Splice, so I split up the videos, downloaded those, and combined those together to see what was if one of them was wrong, but apparently none was wrong, and so I guess Splice just decided to have to bring it apart. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh, so it's Zolta this time. Well, I mean, I knew what it was since I got to it a bit late, but yeah. Yeah, so, well, I guess fair enough. Zolta's did seem most interesting. But I personally think that, what was it, Tristan's there was pretty much to build on, off of hers. Plus, yeah, but maybe I was reading it wrong. Maybe it wasn't. I've been noticing I gain more views on my videos lately, and I don't believe it's bots this time. Well, there are bots, but not as many, I do believe. There's actually some people actually watching it. So, thank you. I think I might have figured out who did this. Really? Are you sure? Then how did they make sure that only Gabriella's glass would be poisoned? That's just deep. We shouldn't have assumed that Gabriella's glass was the only one that was poisoned. The truth is they were all poisoned, so you would have collapsed no matter which she chose. But if that's so, why didn't any of the other guests fall ill? I see I wasn't clear enough, sorry about that. What I mean is that the wine contained only trace amounts of poison. It would have been nearly enough to make a healthy person sick by itself. But what if the same poison had been building up in that same someone's body day by day, and the trace amount of wine were enough to trigger symptoms? Oh, interesting. I never considered that possibility. But if that is true, it would mean whoever is responsible for this would have been capable of poisoning Gabriella's food and drink every day. Exactly, and the only one who could do something like that is a servant here at the mansion. That's right, I'm looking at you. How did you know? You've been hanging around us the whole time, making sure to watch everything we do. There's no telling what kind of sneaky shit you could have gotten up to if you felt like it. Well, it seems I'm figured out. Well, it seems I'm figured out. Tis a shame, though, a real shame. Come on, Cara, aren't you ready to wake up? Did you honestly forget your real name? You know, I spent a lot of time thinking about what I was going to say to you when I finally saw you again. But all I could come up with was trite shit like long time no see or how have you been. Still, I eventually figured out as long as you still remembered me, what I said wouldn't be important. But then it didn't even seem like you recognized me, and before I knew it, I was trashing you right to your face. I was sure that would get the least of your attention, and I'd finally hear how you really felt. I never thought you'd collapse from being poisoned before I got the chance. But hey, got the guy's been doing this to you, so all you have to worry about now is getting better. I don't care if you want to start back up where we left off, or if you never want to see me again. I just want to hear how you really feel, no matter how long it takes. Well, that went well. Wrapped up everything nicely. Oh yeah, crystallized lore. Can never have enough of those. 15 dailies. Okay. This has been an amazing experience. Yeah, I never figured filming a movie could be just as fun as fighting, though in a different sort of way. There you are. Great news, Murasaki's awake now. Really? Come on, Senpai, let's go see her. I'm so sorry for making you all worry about me. It's okay, accidents happen. Please don't be sorry, Murasaki, it wasn't your fault. Sure, but next time you should go take medicine. Read the damn instructions, will you? I don't give a shit how tired you are, you should know what it does. So, how's the production going right now? As a matter of fact, we managed to finish it ourselves while you were sleeping. Oh my, I actually managed to finish it? We did. Our editor at Caldea is working furiously on footage as we speak. Well, you have the rough cut here if you'd like to see it. Yes, I would love to. Oh my, I can't believe it. That bad, huh? Oh no, not at all. I can't possibly thank you all enough for finishing the film where I was indisposed. All I've done this whole time is make trouble for the rest of you. Hi, sir, this is all you was to say, Murasaki. If there's anything else, but you spit it out now. I'm afraid I don't know what you mean, Lord Shakespeare. Now permit me to elaborate in your stead, Miss Murasaki, since time is of the essence in the singularity. Your original idea for this movie was to make it a variation on the tale of Genji, am I correct? Variation? I'm afraid I only know a little bit about the story myself, but now that you mention it, I can see the similarities. It's embarrassing to explain this now, but you're exactly right, Lord Holmes. I based Miguel and Gabrielle's relationship on the one between Genji and Murasaki. I wanted to try simulating what would happen if a young girl was taken in by an older man and raised to be a lady of high society, was suddenly set free to lead her own life. I also planned to include a large cast of varied characters to form a prince's attendant, the doctor, and the artistic genius, mysterious detective, a faithful servant, and a mere spirited singer, and have them all take part in a series of melodramas that revolved around Gabriella. That would make Antonio, at least see Sogan. Fuck's sakes, well, that was not right! That would make Antonio Norihara, and at least say so. Fuck. Not even close. Antonio Ariwara, no, Narihira, and Elise so. Fuck. Never mind. You know what? I quit. Like, say Sogan, huh? If there's something you want to say to me, playwright, how about you say it to my face? It wouldn't be nice and listen, seeing as they'll be the last words you ever speak. And the Meihousou itself must be based on Beholden's Phoenix Hall. So suppose that holy matters now. Gabrielle and Salazar would then go close, only for her to realize he's actually her brother, Daiso lost his memory during the war, so they don't end up together. So she's doing the elements of General Caro and Yukifine too. I knew she was sweeter than she looked. Hey, how about that? Guess my idea wasn't so far from yours after all. I was actually originally planning to have Lord Iso play Salazar as well. Yeah, you made the right call, swapping him out for Bartholomew. So, what are you planning on having Gabrielle end up with anyways? I at least gotta know that, or it's gonna bug the shit out of me. I'm so sorry to disappoint you, but, well, Gabrielle doesn't end up with anyone. Ah? Miguel and Gabrielle only appeared to be married, and truth, Gabrielle was Miguel's adopted daughter. Then why bother making the relationship so goddamn complicated? Because men approach an adopted daughter differently than they do a widow. I see, so he actually pretended to marry his adopted daughter out of concern for her well-being. Oh, so they weren't actually married. It would take them still to try and root a widow of the nation's founding president, after all. So the rest of the story involved the different male characters approaching Gabrielle, each with different motives. For her part, she keeps trying to ascertain how much these men generally care for her. But at one point, she realizes Miguel was the only one who loved her unconditionally. Ah, so that's why you gave Hokusaido's instructions while she was painting her portrait. If that's what the sort of conclusion you had in mind, it makes perfect sense that you want the portrait to make a scene like father and daughter instead of husband and wife. That story sounds like it would have made for a lovely movie. Maybe if we started now and really hurry, we could still film it. Sorry, no can do, Mass. More than half you said is gonna fall apart in about 3 hours. We have little more time until the singularity disappears, but that's still not enough to shoot that many scenes. Honestly, the only one who still needs to be there for now is Serbian film. The rest of you can come back if you like. Da Vinci's editing the film as we speak, and all that stuff now is to play it once it's done and collect the magical energy. Doctor? What if we just reshoot the ending? How would that be okay? If there's a better ending to be had, I know I would like to see it. We all would. It's alright, Lady Mask. Please, just forget about my thoughts. I'm overjoyed to know that you all work together to finish the film even without me. I truly am. Back when I was alive, I never would have had the chance to collaborate with so many people like this. Now I'll finally get to see the fruits of such labor for myself. But, Murasaki herself says he's fine with it. If you have any regrets, you can make it up for them in another movie. We writers can't help but write after all, and that sense Murasaki's an unstoppable juggernaut. With your question now, Anderson, eh? I'm sorry, Christ. I'm sorry, I know I just said most of you could come back now, but on second thought, would you mind staying there a little longer? I want to take just a little more time getting the race shift ready. Don't worry, it won't be too long. There's a party hall and set, right? Why don't you hang out there and chat amongst yourselves? Senpai, are we sure this is what we want to do? Huh? I'm very happy with the ending we all chose to go with. I have no issue with that. But now I know what sort of ending Murasaki had in mind all along. Can't help but feel dissatisfied. If it's all possible, I'd really like to shoot an ending that Murasaki would be happy with. Roman said it's fine, Mash. Murasaki said it's fine then. Now, of course, that would also be giving up on the version everyone worked so hard to come up with. Yeah, screw the hard work, right? It feels like if we go with the ending Murasaki wants, it would invalidate everything we worked to accomplish. I don't want to think that all our effort was wasted just because we didn't end the film correctly. Then don't do it. The film's fine. I know this is a lot to ask since a film can only have one ending. But is there anything we can do that would make everyone happy? Release a Snyder Cut. Just give it a Snyder Cut. Say, yo, it's two different endings there. Fuck. That shit. Well, now this is a surprise. Is there something secret you wish to discuss with me, Doctor? There sure is, General Cortez. I suppose it would be best described as a get-rich-quick scheme. We've already collected the Singularity's magical energy, but I feel like we can do better. See, the movie's just about done, but the Singularity is obviously still there. So I figured there must be a little something left for us to acquire. The Singularity was born from the movie director's lingering regret, so it only stands to reason that he wouldn't be truly satisfied with anything less than the Best Picture award, right? Indeed, I can't see your face well over the transmission, but you seem to be quite the villain yourself. So what exactly do you have in mind for me, Doctor? You were one of the models for that portrait, so I know you know how this movie is supposed to go from the beginning. So I wanted to run the suggestion, the idea I had past you. Would you be willing to hear me out? But I suppose me trying to give you an evil scheme is like teaching a fish to swim, isn't it? I suppose everything that happened in the story thus far will be the mystery act. And much as I loathe to agree with anything that the detective says, you can have a mystery story without them suspecting something is amiss. As such, I had resolved to hold my tongue until Rusty began to suspect, but it seems I need not hold it any longer. There's about one puzzle left to resolve in the story. How can we go about allaying Master's concerns? No matter how many ideas one may have, a story can only have one conclusion. There's no getting around that. Snyder Cut. But what if there was a way to integrate both Murasaki wishes and everyone's hard work without diminishing either? Naturally, as the good doctor said, we might not be able to reshoot any vital scenes. But that does not mean our hands are completely tied. Of course, you won't have to wait long for the denouement to start to see what I mean, but you may find it just as interesting coming up with the answer for yourself. Return to the murder at Meihousou. Okay. Pardon me, Master, but I have a proposal that may just put your concerns to rest. Really? You have an idea? Yes, but I can't take all the credit for it. We're more of a collaborative effort. I won't say it's the best of all worlds, but I do think it will lead us to avoid the worst possible scenario. Shit. All I need to do is make me the lead actor. Say what? I'm sure Holmes will be none too pleased about this, so let me be perfectly clear up front. What I propose is not born from a desire to play the lead. No, I'm proposing as an attempt to improve my image. I merely believe that making me the lead actor would be neatly resolve the problem currently eating away at you. Oh, so you're saying we should make Miguel Angel Cortez the main character? Naturally. Fat chance, asshole. We spent the whole movie building you up as an irredeemably evil prick. We don't have anywhere near the time we need for the reshoots to fix that. I disagree with that assertion, but fortunately it does not matter regardless. For you see, we already have all the footage we need. Forgive me, this isn't quite right. What I should have said is we already have almost all the footage we need. What are you talking about, Professor? I have no idea you were going with this.
Well, we may be missing a few of the performers now, so we call shooting some video along these lines.
What lines? Where's the lines?
So you see, by inserting footage we shot for the documentary to certain key scenes, we can dramatically change how Miguel is perceived.
This is amazing. Your idea was to use assets from outside the movie is the same as mine, but this is on an entirely different scale. And does this mean everything we saw up till now is fair game?
Yes, I suppose it does. For example, when Arasaki Sekibo suddenly collapsed, we were all genuinely concerned for well-being, no?
Yes, of course.
Now can we work that footage into a scene that has you all concerned for Gabriella?
So we'll be looking for useful bits and pieces of footage wherever we can find them, huh? It won't be easy, but if we can pull it off, it ought to be worth it. I see, that's definitely a good idea. Alright, you have permission to shoot any additional scenes you need. Well, remember, once time is up, you all need to come back immediately. It isn't much, but try to do the best you can with the time you have left. Understood, Dr. Roman. Click advantage every second we have. Right, Murasaki? This is threat of a spider still can give me a ray of hope. If that's alright with you, I promise I won't let this chance go to waste. Okay, so if we're gonna use Moriarty's idea, we'll need to have Gabrielle become despondent with life. Only to realize how much her adopted father truly loved her, right? Right. Got it, so Gabrielle takes the poison because she feels like she has nothing left to live for, and everyone else goes nuts trying to help, huh? Of course, then I'll end up losing my life in the process, but I suppose we have no choice but to make it fit somehow. You got it. Hey, we made it this far flying by the seat of our pants. What's more to go before we pack it in?
I know it makes no difference from the original plot in certain ways. This is an insert movie we aim to regale in Gabriella's story. Of course, if Gabrielle has such little screen time, it would never maybe end up being more of a Miguel's movie. But I hope you can overlook that on account of how I hope you can overlook that on account of how devastatingly dapper I am.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. I see, so this was your goal all along. By unveiling your idea when all other options have been exhausted, you gained the lead role with a minimum of effort. Good grief, you never change, do you, Professor?
You must insist on always painting me in the worst possible light. For your information, I was purely by chance that I realized my conduct this far could be used in this movie. Besides, you know very well that I'm not a man given to operating out in the open like this.
Well, I suppose that not every day that would-be artist gets the chance to help others so directly. Very well, then, as they say in the entertainment business, break a leg.
My thanks, I just hope I can really break my back while I'm at it. Now then, sorry, master?
We shall. Meihousou middle ending. So what kind? Make up your mind, is it the ending or is it not? So how is she? Her life's not in any danger, but I have no idea when she might wake up. You're the only one who prepared the drinks? I was not. Well, I did serve the drinks. I didn't have time to add anything to them, even if I had wished to. Wait, assuming I'm remembering correctly, I think I saw her taking what looked like some sort of medicine before she enters the ballroom. Oh, and you say the host of the party poisoned herself out of her own accord? Why would she do such a thing? That's weird. She's been running the whole show up till now. I don't see any reason why she'd want to ruin it herself. I don't know what he took or why, but if nothing else, I think this absolves Salazar. Maybe she just lost all hope and figured there was nothing left for her to live for. If you're correct, then there's nothing we can do. As long as she feels that way, she'll likely just try again after she wakes up. Well, what if we know? Whatever is causing her despair, cause we need to discover what that is first. In order to do that, we need to find out exactly why she lost hope, and why she wanted to end it all. I think I might know. Oh? Her whole life was bought and sold when she was just a little girl. Even if she does get to inherit the old Keith's legacy now that he's dead, there's no way it could fill the hole of an experience like that was left in her heart. I probably would have chosen death if I were in her place too. Let it settle. I'll send for the mansion to see if I can find any clues. I'll be happy to check the storehouse myself. No, we should go together just to be safe. Don't you go anywhere alone. I see, alright if you insist. Don't misunderstand. This is because I suspect you. It's simply better for both of us to have a witness present. True, if we go together, anything happens to one of us, the other will come under suspicion. I apologize for my rudeness. Alright, let's be on our way. Be careful out there, you two. There's no telling what you might run into. Did anyone else just hear that? Yeah, it wasn't just me. Did something happen to him? I know all too well how you feel. Just to be safe, let's lock this room and I'll go check on them ourselves. Vargas, it can't be happening. They're both dead. It looks like they killed each other. Which one of them attacked first? Vargas would never ambush anyone. It looks like you're right. Vargas split out from a wound on his back. Salazar must have attacked him from behind. He probably meant to kill Vargas with one strike and hide the body somewhere. But he obviously failed, leaving Vargas just enough strength to strike back. Nobody could have taken Vargas down in a fair fight, not even if it was 3 against 1. Salazar must have already known that after the explosion he wouldn't be able to talk his way out. It looks like they knocked over a bottle of volatile chemicals during the fight. It almost certainly caused the explosion we almost heard. Almost certainly caused the explosion we heard. Salazar must have already known he couldn't talk his way out of it. We could have interrogated him and gone to the bottom of this a lot faster than just one man's fight. What's wrong, Detective? You hadn't said a word. Mr. Poggio is also known as Isidore the Sleeper because he always gets very quiet whenever he's considering evidence. It's true, even as you speak, my mind is evaluating all the possibilities at a dizzying pace. Didn't you say you were known as Isidore the Reaper before? It knows and Thanatos are said to be brothers. That's my Sleeper and Reaper persona, the 2 sides of the same coin. Ah, whatever, just stop bragging. Tell us what you figured out already. I can't, not when the culprit is listening. Oh, then you're saying one of us is the culprit. I will leave that to your imagination. For now, I can say this. There is no case so inscrutable as that I, Isidore Poggio, cannot solve it. May sit back and rest assured that I have matters well in hand. Where is everyone? It's been over 2 hours since they left. Either they ran into some sort of trouble or they found something promising. All we can do is hope that it's the latter. Still, given that they're working together, they should be okay as long as nothing too dire befalls them. Salazar worked for Miguel, right, Uncle? But now that Miguel is dead, what kind of hold could he have on Salazar that would make him willing to risk his life? True, if Miguel was controlling Salazar with fear, there would be no further need for Salazar to be afraid. And it's not like they had any family for Miguel to threaten, since he didn't even know who he was. Do you think you could risk your life for someone who's already dead, Elise? No way, I can't even imagine risking my life for someone who's still alive. Indeed, that is how most people seem to feel. I'm certainly no exception. Perhaps Salazar's willingness to do so is proof of more genuine loyalty. Master, I can't tell you how grateful I am for you to give me a new role to play when I had nothing to look forward to but disappearing. I'm so sorry my leaving you like this will only make things harder for you. Forgive me for leaving in the middle of all this. It flies in the face of theory we've been working under thus far, but perhaps Miguel was actually kind and virtuous man, the kind who inspired loyalty out of love, not fear. Of course, now that Salazar is gone, we have no way of knowing for sure. About time you guys got back. Wait, where's Garcia? Garcia went off on his own. He's going on about something he had to go check. We had no idea where he could be right now. That said, every other survivor is here in this room. Assuming there is no one else hiding out there, I suspect he should be fine. What's more, we learned a few very interesting things. First off, we found documentation that shows Gabriella's Daiso's younger sister. You don't say. Of course, I expect that was the case. On its own, that wasn't any great surprise. But what if it turned out that Miguel was actually trying to improve not his own life, but everyone else's? Would that be surprising? The hell are you talking about? Miguel was the living embodiment of ambition and greed. We found a report on the state of Nadi Naha prior to the revolution. It painted a bleak picture of Nadi Naha's future prospects. That is to say, it had none at all. What? That can't be right. There is no question that the first president only aided the revolution because he knew the cost of failing to do so would be the nation itself. Then what? You're saying Miguel's coup turned out to be the right move in the end? So it looks that way, so now I have to re-examine everything I thought to be true. And determine if Miguel Angel Cortez really was the evil man I thought him to be.
Well, General Tan, I convinced you to surrender peacefully, and I show you wish to avoid needless injury just as much as I do.
I have no intention of refusing to acknowledge reality, but I also know your army is quite determined to take advantage of the situation. So I thought you could at least serve as a scarecrow of sorts and draw the rebels' attention away. Then, while your forces end there stare each other down, my soldiers could strike at them from behind.
A clever plan, General Tan, just what I was expecting from you. That sort of clever thinking is exactly why I had to stay one step ahead of you.
Well, you succeeded. Never dreamed you could come to kill me in my sleep. Now my army is destroyed thanks to your ambush. But what will you do now? Can't imagine you think you'll hold back the rebel army with your forces alone.
That's a problem right there, General Tan. You two in it for your own good. As a matter of fact, I've already reached an understanding with the rebels. Once they have conquered the palace, I'll be the new government's representative. They have no more desire for senseless bloodshed than I do, after all.
You contemptible wretch, you know I could never imagine to be so self-serving.
Please don't think too poorly of me, General Tan. If anyone here is to blame, I'd say it's you.
So that's all there is for me to do here. Everything ended so abruptly.
I never thought you would give up on this before I did. Seems like I'm less patient than I thought.
I'm very happy to help in any matter my lord wishes, no matter how difficult the task may be.
I see. I always envy your steadfastness.
General Tan was loyal to a fault. If he truly wanted what was best for Nadi Nade, he'd have been the one to initiate the coup. So what, you're saying the geezer only betrayed the royal family because Nadi Naha was on the brink? The royal family at the time was indeed rotten to the core. I can attest that to myself. Even if Miguel had betrayed them, they would have certainly have fallen to ruin if left to their own devices. I'm not trying to carry water for him, but the revolutionary army was really an army in name only. If General Tan had succeeded in flanking them that night, we would have lost for sure. After that, I have no doubt ones would have survived returned to guerrilla warfare. And that would have led to the country getting bogged down into immediate civil war, which only would have impoverished Nadi Naha even further. If that had happened, I'd probably never have been able to become a singer. It's difficult to believe that, but the logic is sound. So if Miguel saw this all while he took over the nation, that would make him a hero, would it not? If that was the only way he could do something good for the world. I also came across something of personal interest to me. What is it? Rico Daiso's death. He died that night just as I was expected. He and General Tan ended up killing each other, sort of. According to the report, what happened was...
Besides, you only now just mentioned this, all you have for me. You're trying to pull a fast one on me?
Good grief. It seems we're having an excited puppy here who still needs to be housebroken.
Ah, bring it, old man. I'm just thinking I could use a decent workout. Ah! Well done, I must say. For a moment there, I wasn't all sure how things would play out. Oh my, you're bleeding. I'm sorry we fostered this thankless role upon you.
No need for apologies. We can't say who's most thankless until all is said and done. Now then, my time here is over. I wish you all well with what is yet to come in this endeavor. I can't excuse what General Tan did, but I can understand why he did. Daiso would never have been able to adjust to his new, more peaceful world. I think General Tan felt the responsibility to make so Daiso would never cause any further trouble. As for Miguel, he knew Daiso would be leaving behind a little sister. Now, where was I when I first met him again? Ah, yes, it was the town library. I was waiting for there to meet my brother. I'll wait here until he comes back.
I'm sorry, my girl, but you'll be wasting your time. You'd feel better if you resigned yourself to never seeing him again.
Really? Then what should I do?
Well, I would hate to see a child cry. Alright, I'll tell you what. I'll give you anything else your heart desires instead.
That's right, he was always so kind right from the beginning. You didn't breathe a word about my brother's death. He just bought me all sorts of things to help cheer me up since I was all alone. He felt responsible for Dinah's death as well. That's why he took Gabriella in. Of course, those of us who are looking at him from the outside, it just seems like he did that to satisfy his own desires. If nothing else, he was a master of hiding how he really felt. Well, I don't like it. From where I sit, he just up and disappeared on me out of nowhere. But at least I knows he was treated well now. That's a huge relief. Hey, check this out. A letter? Where did you get this? I've been doing my best to figure out why Salazar attacked Vargas like that. And I think it's probably because there was something important in there. Vargas just happened to go near it, and Salazar must have thought he was trying to steal it. So if that's what happened, I thought he'd be able to find whatever it was near where they fought. And I did it. There was a small safe hidden around here. Luckily, it was easy enough to break the lock. So that's where this letter came from. Does that mean Salazar threw away his life for nothing? Thing is, the letter's from Miguel Angel Cortez, and it's addressed to Gabriella. Then does that mean it holds Gabriella's secrets? Gabriella should be one to read this, but since he's currently indisposed, then this is an emergency.
My beloved daughter Gabriella, by the time you read this, I'm afraid I will no longer be with you. I've instructed Salazar to give you this letter when the time is right. Perhaps you'll read this 3 years from now, 10 years from now, or maybe you'll never will. But that's alright. Writing this letter is something of a selfish exercise in truth. More than anything in the world, I loathe hypocrisy. Playing up one's own goodness despite having accomplished nothing of value, that is the very height of self-indulgence. In that sense, my good deeds to date have been purely practical. I believe that during the good deed you wish to do, regardless of whether others understand your reasons or where they might whisper behind your back is turned. Some good deeds cannot be accomplished with clean hands. I've never been anyone to hesitate to roll up my sleeves. But I'm afraid my bad deeds are caught up to me. I cannot long continue as I am now. My enemies are now so numerous I can no longer keep track, and it would come to no great stock if I were to be assassinated sooner or later. Even the police are constantly looking for an excuse to throw me in jail. Of course, I'm delighted to see them so eager for justice, even if I am the one who in this country would drive them to do so at my expense. And above all, I'm concerned that the dirtier my hands get, the harder it becomes to hear my conscience. I've never told anyone this before, but in truth, I am much more innocent than man than I pretend. That's why I'm going to end my own life before I can become a genuine monster. Salazar will be able to handle the rest, and if any further problems to arise, the closest to take care of them. Now, there's the important part. A few days after my funeral, evidence of wrongdoing committed by certain high-ranking government officials should be delivered around the country. Far too much for them to cover it all up. Now that these revelations would create something of a crisis, but things should settle down soon enough. Until they do, I would like you to lay low into Meihousou. Finally, I need to tell you about my legacy. Given that I use primarily to level the forthcoming charges at my opponents, most of it will cease to be used for blackmail after I'm gone. However, some of it will still retain its usefulness, and such I hope you think something you like to use as my legacy for yourself. In the meantime, I've invited a number of good people to stay by your side. If you have a divine love with one of them, wonderful. If you find friendship with them, that would be wonderful too. Whatever happens, I am filled with hope and love for you and your future.
Loving father, Miguel Angel Cortez. Now I see, so you two were the closers. Now that I've been presented with incontrovertible evidence, it seems I have no choice but to come clean. Indeed, our job is not to uncover the truth, but to see that trouble was handled quickly and quietly. We still do need to figure out a good way to explain Vargas and Salazar's deaths. But since Gabrielle survived, that shouldn't be too hard. Perhaps we'll call this place a Meihousou Most Foul. That is much easier than the job we were hired for. Hey, Jeanne, what did I say about silence being golden? God, can you believe this idiot's a couple of them even died for no good reason? But that doesn't mean you have to play party during idiocracy, Gabriella. So come on, wake up already, please. Gabriella? This might be a lot to take in after waking up, but the truth is, it's alright, I overheard everything. Thank you for worrying so much about me, Lizzie. You could have just called me down from the start and saved us both a lot of time. It's usually a far cry of being the proper lady, at least, but wait now, I'm glad that full mouth of yours. Well, you're free to do whatever you like now, Gabriella. Have you decided what you're going to do now that the world is your oyster? I'm sad to hear that Vargas and Salazar had a fatal misunderstanding. But I look forward to getting to know all of you better, as the friends of my father so kindly chose. That sounds like a great plan to me. I think Dazzler would have been happy to hear that too. I'm sorry to be the downer, but have you all forgotten what the letter said? The scandal at the time while President Cortez planned is about to go off soon. There is every possibility that some disgruntled dissidents could try and attack Meihousou when all this goes public. So I think I'll stay here a little longer to make sure Gabrielle will remain safe from any potential hooligans. It's all part of the job Miguel entrusted to us. Well, I guess my hands are tied then. Vargas always hated being left alone, so I better stay a little longer. I'm staying too. There's no telling who might come after someone as famous as me if I just get gomboed around without a care in the world, right, Uncle? I quite agree, but just thinking I could use a change of environment for writing my next song. Then I think I'll stick around a little longer too. Aren't you married? Shouldn't you get back home soon? My wife's much stronger than I am, so we'll be fine alone for a while. I thought I was all alone, but I see now that all these people really do care about me. What's more, I finally realized what he always had my best interest in mind. Thank you, Father. I was worried what might happen to this country after all the government officials were arrested for corruption. But luckily it ended up just clearing the air. Thanks to it, a lot easier to do business now. My family used to have pay through the nose just to keep these guys off for bracks. I'm glad they're in prison now. Things looked pretty dicey back when the royal family was disposed to, but Naughty Nah has made it tough stuff. Oh, you're real good, pal. Play us a song, will ya? Forget it. Compliments in the dive like this don't mean jack shit. What was that? Easy, man. Calm down. What are you talking about, pal? There's a saloon and a huge mansion called the Meihousou somewhere in the country that's run by a beautiful puppeteeress. They say if you can prove yourself there, they'll invest in your career. And if you do really good, Jovan might even give you one of his songs. So that's my dream, to become a good enough musician to be invited to Meihousou someday. Just forget about it. There's no way the palace place could really exist. You're better off working a real job like us. Bartender, not around?
Well, now, that sounds fascinating.
If only more people agree with you, bartender.
Tell me all about it, and the next round's on me.
Oh, you got a deal, pal. Alright, so the Melhousou's home to beautiful puppeteeress, a singer, and... The sly old spider made it out. The end. I'd say that went lovely.
Alright, I believe that's a wrap, and with just a few minutes to go before the singularity disappears. Tell me, Doctor, what did you think of Meihousou Most Foul? You satisfied with the final cut?
Absolutely, that was the best thing I've watched in a good while. There might be a few plot holes here and there, but otherwise I believe you guys improvised the whole thing. Thanks for the great movie, General Cortez. All that's up now is to end this call. The end ordeal will be over and Serbian film can take over to finish the job.
What about Master Murasaki? Don't you need to see if they're satisfied with the results as well? And don't you need to see if the resistant cast are happy with the performances? I believe that was part of the reward you had in mind, no?
I don't need to ask them about it. It's perfectly clear from the side of the camera. That said, there is one thing still nagged at me. You know what I'm talking about, right, General Cortez? I do know the other servants, but I don't think I know anything at all about you. I can't help but think that's a little odd, even unfair.
Unfair? Don't be ridiculous, after all. I know nothing about you either. We don't even know each other's names. But so what? The little conundrum may be quite inconsequential, but it's quite wonderful. Besides, where the others of the world of cinema can chance encounters like this occur? For a brief hour or two, characters that would have usually never shared the same space can play off one another. Movies are nothing if not entertainment, so they are a perfect place for this sort of fantastical crossovers.
Yeah. That's a very romantic way to think about it. Grail, 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 grail. Grail. Hell yeah! And we are done. I think that went very lovely. The movie went well. It was made It was done quite well. Yeah. Next event, I can't wait till the next event. I don't know when that's gonna happen though. So, but as always, stay safe out there. Be good. See ya. Yeah, bye.